Despite the horrific statistics on migrant violence, the leftist government of Spain has legalized the citizen status of over 500,000 illegal migrants in a naked and obvious attempt to swamp the native Spanish voting power in favor of the leftists. They openly, proudly say this in speeches while they conspire to shut down the free exchange of truth.
Cuando estaba durmiendo, noté que me pegaron. Y me desperté y comenzaron a pegarme puñales a la cara, hacia el brazo, tomé un ferit y volvía, parlava, no parlava, donde me feia que... Y s'endugueren tot el que volgueren.
Mos feren el que volgueren, a mi m'agarraren, me xitaren en el llit i me pegaren una paliza que hi porta dos costelles trencades.
In October of 2022, Remix News reported on data from the Spanish National Institute of Statistics, which revealed that 45% of all those convicted of blank assault do not have Spanish nationality. A total of 491 people were convicted in 2021 in Spain for crimes related to blank assault. Of these, 267 were Spanish citizens and 224 were foreigners. Again, the Spanish column will also include foreign-born nationals who have since been naturalized. The disproportionate nature of migrant crime is greatly emphasized in certain regions. In Catalonia, for example, 91% of those convicted of blank are foreigners, despite comprising 17% of the region's population. 91%. These are real statistics. You can look it up yourself. 91%. Data shows that last year, there were 8,505 inmates in Catalan prisons, 50% of whom were foreigners. 51% of all prisoners are foreigners. 51%. Catalonia has become the epicenter of violent crime in Spain, with foreigners vastly overrepresented in serious offenses. According to the Ministry of the Interior's Crime Statistical Portal for 2023, the 10 Spanish cities with the highest rates of violent robberies and intimidation were all located in Catalonia, with Barcelona leading the list. The Catalan capital, governed by socialist mayor Juan Colboni, recorded an alarming rate of 823 violent robberies per 100,000 inhabitants, 6 times the national average and far exceeding Madrid's 266 per 100,000 inhabitants, despite being half of the Spanish capital's population.
A huge number of Pakistani migrants have lined up outside the consulate in Spain in a bid to get their paperwork together to apply for legal status. The queues come after the leftist Spanish government announced a plan to grant legal status to 500,000 foreign nationals who can prove they have no criminal record and have lived in Spain for at least 5 months before the start of 2026. The legal status will give the migrants the ability to legally work and 1-year residency permit, which could be extended.
Spain has announced it will grant legal residency to 500,000 undocumented migrants, and the impact could be seen immediately. In Barcelona, hundreds lined up outside the Pakistani consulate, hoping to secure the paperwork needed to apply.
There will be a lot of difference, like I can travel to my home country and meet my parents and work here legally, so I can pay my tax and further I can apply for my permanent residency.
Elon Musk has weighed in on the situation.
Dirty Sanchez is a tyrant and a traitor to the people of Spain.
This sparked backlash from Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, who fired back, responding, "Mars can wait, humanity can't." He then doubled down in an address to the nation, saying, "When did recognising rights become something radical?" And it's not only the Spanish Prime Minister pushing for large-scale migration. Far-left politician and member of the Podemos party,
personas migrantes y racializadas, que por favor no nos dejen solas con tanto facha. Y claro que sí queremos que voten, claro que sí, hemos conseguido papeles, regularización ya, y ahora vamos a por la nacionalidad o a cambiar la ley para que puedan votar, por supuesto. Ojalá, teoría del reemplazo, ojalá podamos barrer de fachas y de racistas este país con gente migrante, con gente trabajadora. Claro que yo quiero que haya reemplazo, reemplazo de fachas, reemplazo de racistas, reemplazo de vividores. y que lo podamos hacer con la gente trabajadora de este país, tenga el color de la piel que tenga, sea china, negra, marrona, con todas compañeras, las gentes trabajadoras.
So here it is. They've whipped their masks off and they openly admit their plans for our future. It is no longer a theory. They publicize their intentions. This is why we cannot look upon events happening in Europe or the United States in isolation from one another. Theirs is a plan for the entire Western world. And what is even more disgusting is the fact that they are bent on censoring our freedom of speech to publicize this hateful plan.
Next week, my government will implement the following actions. First, we will change the law in Spain to hold platform executives legally accountable for many infringements taking place on their sites.
This is a photo of a Moroccan migrant who left a 20-year-old Spanish young woman brain dead in Calella, Barcelona, and injured her mother. He is on the run.
This means that CEOs of these techno platforms will face criminal liability for failing to remove illegal or hateful content. And for that, we governments need to stop turning a blind eye to the toxic content shared under their watch. Second, we will turn algorithmic manipulation and amplification of illegal content into a new criminal offense. Disinformation doesn't appear by itself. It is created, promoted, and spread by certain actors. We will go after them as well as after the platforms whose algorithms amplify the disinformation for profit. No more hiding behind code. No more pretending that technology is neutral. Third, we will implement a hate and polarization footprint, a system to track, quantify, and expose how digital platforms fuel division and amplified hate. For too long, hate has been treated as invisible and untraceable. But we will change that, developing a tool that will provide the basis for undertaking future penalties, because spreading hate must come at a cost.
In Bilbao, Spain, 79 people were arrested for violent robbery and intimidation. 75 of them were Arab immigrants.
A legal cost, of course, a financial cost, and a moral cost that platforms can no longer afford to ignore. Fourth, Spain will ban access to social media for minors under the age of 16. Platforms will be required to implement effective age verification systems, not just checkboxes, but real barriers that work. Today, our children are exposed to a space they were never meant to navigate alone. A space of addiction, abuse, pornography, manipulation, violence. We will no longer accept that. We will protect them from the digital Wild West. Fifth and last, my government will work with our public prosecutor to investigate and pursue the infringement committed by Grok, TikTok, and Instagram. We will have zero tolerance on this matter, and we will defend our digital sovereignty against foreign coercion.
This is a naked attempt to stifle the free speech, the sharing of data, statistics, and information inconvenient to their narrative. Under these kinds of assaults on our freedom of expression, statistics such as these will be illegal. If you're from Spain or from the European Union, take a screenshot and share it with as many people as possible while you still have the freedom to do so. This is a problem that is fast approaching catastrophic levels of irreversible damage. They are flooding our countries with these people with the obvious intent of submerging the power of your vote. They consider you fascists, and they want you and everything you love to disappear. They will stop at nothing to silence us, to criminalize even the most subdued of resistance. They don't want us to even talk about this. The demographic changes they are instituting will never be fixed. This is a problem that will haunt Western civilization for generations, if indeed anything remotely resembles Western civilization in the future. This is the most basest of betrayals. Never in the history of humanity has a culture so purposely destroyed itself and its own people. So these leftists have this "we are the world" type mentality. Wow, how do these Muslims view this "we are the world" type mentality? Are they fellow citizens of planet Earth with the leftists?
Somos españoles musulmanes. Se nos ha inculcado desde pequeños que los musulmanes fueron expulsados de España totalmente. Pero aquí estamos. Comenta, musulmán, si quieres redescubrir con nosotros nuestra propia historia. Hoy en día los musulmanes forman más del 5% de la población española. Y el Islam es la religión que más rápido crece en España, con miles de conversos todos los años. Por eso, y por honrar a nuestros ancestros andalusíes, decidimos ir al Hajj a caballo. Y de camino revivimos nuestro propio legado, el legado del Islam en el resto de Europa,
hasta Sarajevo a caballo.
Las rutas perdidas de peregrinación del antiguo Imperio Otomano, remontándonos al Califato Omeya pasando por Siria, hasta llegar al lugar donde la historia del Islam comenzó, la casa de Allah en Meca.
No, it is about cultural domination. They do not see themselves as fellow citizens of the world. They see themselves as conquerors of Spanish, of Western civilization. If you appreciate the truth, if you appreciate reality, make sure you follow me. Upvote, subscribe, like my video. Together, we are the resistance. Never allow this to become your new normal. Always resist tyranny and evil wherever you may find it. Join me in this struggle. Leftism is a poison that is destroying Western civilization. We need to resist it with every bone in our body. What kind of world are you leaving for your children and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren? Evil will proliferate if good men don't stand up to it.